An exhaustive amount of videos on it's 12:36 a.m. on 11/29, but as today is one of the highest watch days I've had in a while, I am now moving the goalpost of my best guesses once again to, well, it's December 19th, which would make the rising day or on the third day when Satan would possess the body, um, the winter solstice, 12/21. Now, this December 19th is opposite June 19th, which is also known as Juneteenth. So, and remember, everything is done opposite on the calendar. Like Michael Jackson Day was opposite Christmas. It was June 25th when they staged that event. And so I want, and remember 3/11 of 2020, when it all began on 3/11, is directly opposite 9/11. Remember, you just go across 6 months. It's a 12-month calendar. So keep the day the same. You're not worried about how many days in both directions. You're just talking about the opposite on the calendar. And like 3/11 is opposite 9/11, and we've explained to you that that was really about Revelation 11:7. There's my Bible study. Uh, Let me hook that up real quick. And 186, 111, 588. Interesting. 1238. It's 1158 in length. Okay. I was just curious. Let's go ahead and get it loaded. But let's go over this Juneteenth situation here. So when I looked up December 19th in the gematria, it does come to Trump Tower, but it comes to August 6th, which is 86. And on August 6th in 2020 is when he said, I've got a lot of enemies out there. And that just so happens to also, by the way, be a direct hit on 8/6/2020. It's a 37 progression. It's also when he said the calm before the storm, October 5th, 2017. The 2001 A Space Odyssey in 1896 is a direct hit. Bruce Buffer, It's Time, March 11th, 2020 is a direct hit. So let's continue to keep going over this. Vladimir Putin is a direct hit. And when you key in the rising day, or when Satan would possess the body through a ritual, because it's the clone, it's going to take a hit. When you look up December 21st in the gematria, it hits on all three ciphers. Obviously, if it hits on English ordinal, it'll hit on English gematria because English gematria is 6 times English ordinal, or English gematria is 6 times simple gematria, which is what this website gives you, that and the Hebrew Jewish gematria, which is the most biblical because that's where we get our 666 from. That matches his name, Donald John Drumpf. When you key in SIX, 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 in the Jewish Hebrew, it's a direct hit with Donald John Drumpf. So count the number of the man is the number of his name, and so on and so forth. But anyway, I want you to notice October 28th, not 8th, but 8 in the English and simple gematria, and already passed it. October 25th is there, but where is my October 28? There it is. October 28. in the Jewish Hebrew gematria. So it's the 1964 and the 234 in the simple gematria and in the Hebrew gematria. And if we were to key that in, October 28, just 8. There's your 1964 and your 234 once again. 1404 is 6 times the simple gematria, known as English gematria on this side, and 404 is the amount of verses in Revelation. So October 28, if you remember, is the Gateway Arch date. The date of the Gateway Arch opening or Bill Gates' birthday. And so we're going to now, why did they make that October 28th? Because potentially the day Satan would possess the body and we have a real antichrist on the scene. But of course, this is not the abomination of desolation. This is not when he will appear to the world as risen from the dead. That's when he's put an end to World War III, which is the next horse, the red horse. But this is the white horse crowning, the Satan possessing the body ritual on the third day. And we know that he rises on the third day through this ritual because the Dark Knight Rises came out 2 days after the Dark Knight, Dark and Right Eye. Dark Knight was USA wide release on July 18th, not the premiere day, that was the 14th. And The Dark Knight Rises was 2 days later or on the third day, 4 years apart. But you see what they did. They had him rising on the third day. It's July 20th, premiere date on the 16th. Both premiere dates were 4 days previous. So either way, premiere dates on the third day or the USA wide dates, July 18th, July 20th. And don't forget there's Porsche 911 and Porsche 718 for July 18th. They are basically the same looking cars. So as we move through this, if you're born on October 28, 1973, you are 19045 days on the event day and 047 days on the rising day. There's your 45 and 47, which are his two numbers as president. I do track my son's death, and because I track all personal ciphers, people I know, myself, because my first address was 404 Lime Street, 404 verses in the book of Revelation. If you can, my birthday is 7/6/61, and the amount of verses in the two end times gospels combined, Daniel and Revelation, 357 and 404, is 761 verses, 761, a fusion of my birthday. So my own personal ciphers, anybody close to me, people I know, so on and so forth. So my son's death to the event day is 374. So 37, remember, is the prime number for the church, and the next progression is 74, so it's a fusion of that. And remember, 37 goes into 666, 999, 111, 222, 444, 333, 555, 777, all of them. If it goes into 111, then it's going to go into the rest of them through 999, isn't it? Well, it does. 37 plus 37 is 74, plus another 37 is 111. So from my son's death, it's 374, a fusion of the first two progressions of 37, or the prime number for the church. 37 is 12th prime number, 12 is number for the church. Juneteenth Well, the end of slavery, June 19th, 1866. There's your 86 right in the middle of that, and there's your 66 book of the Bible, Revelation, is all coded into that. So when you run the original Juneteenth or the end of slavery to its opposite, remember June 19th is opposite December 19th. When you run it to 12/19, 2021, which is when our nation first started celebrating it as a holiday. Well, don't you know it's 1866 months, which goes back to the year of 1866. So look at that. It's a perfect 1866 months when Juneteenth was on 1866. And there's a 79 in the days. 79 is murder and simple gematria. 113 is in the weeks. 11/3, 3/11, we know all about that. And if you run that to this year's Juneteenth, it's 8,322 weeks. Literally 322 coded. That's a lot, isn't it? So the 2001 A Space Odyssey song, when you run that to, by the way, it's a perfect progression, 37 progression. Like we showed you earlier, it's 47,000. Again, his number, 47,138. 138 is Donald Trump in civil gematria. So it's him and him. It's perfect. It's perfect. And 47,138 divided by 37. 47,138 divided by 37. There's your tower 1, tower 2, tower 7, and for it. 1274. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Well, that's pretty fascinating. It's also direct progressions of 3/11/2020 and 3/13/2020 to the death and rising day. Osama bin Laden's a direct hit also to the rising day. Remember, 9/11 was really about 3/11, which is really about, remember, One World Trade Tower opened on 11/3, so the 3/11, 11/3. 9/11 was really about Revelation 11/7, the beast rising from the pit, because September was once the seventh month, and most countries write the date backwards. And sure enough, Osama bin Laden, from his birthday to the rising day, 68 years, 9 months, 11 days, 9/11 coded. That's big. That's real big. So I'm going to go ahead and make the call now for the 19th of December as my next best educated guess. We're just guessing. We're just having fun with all this just to keep our focus on the fact that the end times is upon us. Now, if we look at 1968, when they did the Heidi Bowl on 11/17, per the Bible verse, right eye utterly darkened Raiders against the Jets, which brought down the Twin Trumps. And so you do have utter perfection, I am going to say. It's 500 hours, comma, 424. 500 is Antichrist in Strong's Concordance G500, which is the opposite of the technology. Switch the letters and the number around. G500, drop the zeros, swap the letter and the number. You have the the name of the technology. So I'll tell you how perfect this is. When you put it to the rising day, yes, it's 500, 472 hours, 500 Antichrist, 47, his number. But look at the days, 20,853. Drop the zero, there's your 285 right there. What is 285? It's the address of One World Trade Tower, 285 Fulton Street. Address of One World Trade Tower, 285 Fulton Street. 285 Fulton Street. There it is. And 285 is coded into the rising day. 2, drop the zero, 20853. 285 coded on the rising day with 500 Antichrist also coded. Wow. This has the event taking place on a Friday. If we run the Wednesday series that had woe in every single title, remember it came out on August 6th this year. It originally came out on November 23rd. When you run it, there's Kennedy's assassination date, 1122 or November 22nd. Wow. Mm, 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 mm. And then this year it came out on 8/6, and then 9/3 was part 2. When the other released the other 4, there's your 135, absolute perfection. Remember, the 135th prime number is 761. The amount of verses combined in your 2 end times gospels. And they coded the 135 and the 761 in back-to-back license tags in The Dark Knight. Christian Bale's Lamborghini or whatever that car is had the 135 on the back, and then the bus minutes later had the 761. We've shown you that many times on this channel. And that's very fascinating. It's direct hits with Dog Day Afternoon Al Pacino, Bruce Buffer's It's Time, his birthday. Like we said, March 11th. Bill Maher's eulogy hits on December 20th, or if you include both dates, on the 19th. The World in 2020 Economist cover on 11/22, 2019. Mission Impossible, Saturday Night Fever release day that was found in the Georgia Guidestones, Barron Trump's birthday. Ooh, The Dark Knight, George Floyd Day, RFK assassination date, Trump inauguration date, go to the rising day, Trump's birth on the total lunar. So born again, Satan possessing the body, direct hit. Trump, The America We Deserve, book release date, where the 9/11 World Trade Center prediction was in that book. Bill Maher eulogies upload on YouTube. Like we said, Osama bin Laden, Sean Connery, Harvey Spencer Stevens, who was the first to play Damien Thorne. Well, one of the people to play Damien Thorne. I don't think he was the first. Remember Damien Thorne from The Omen, The Antichrist. Damien Thorne, initials DT, same as Donald Trump, and the same amount of letters in both names. Damien Thorne, same amount of letters as Donald Trump. Billie Eilish's birthday, she sang No Time to Die, so on the rising day, No Time to Die, we get it. Donnie Darko release date at Sundance. Wow. Direct hit on the Rising Day. Wow. So let's take a look at that before we close out. Let's look at those two. Billie Eilish. Well, let's also look at the 9/3, the other Wednesday release. Okay. Let's look at Billie Eilish, No Time to Die, 2/13. 1772. That's not a hit. Oh, it's her birthday. Not bad. We're not going to look up her birthday. We did want to look up, though, from the release date of the song. It's her birthday. That's a hit to the Rising. Sorry. If we look up the movie No Time to Die, 1533, 1535. Let's look at that Donnie Darko release date at Sundance. I think that's to the Rising Day, if I'm not mistaken, 9102. 246 progressions. Man, don't get me started on that. Excellent. Uh, Big time personal cipher on that one. We look at the other release date, 10/26, 88/22. Be 88/20 on the event day. So there's your 88 coded. When they went 88 miles per hour, also on the same date, 1985, Back to the Future, on the Rising Day. There it is, 666. 14,666 days. If you take a look at his birthday times this year, 6 times, 14 times, 1946. His number is 163,464. When you run that times 2025, there is your 146. Just like you have your 146,666. Wow. That's crazy. Whew. My goodness gracious. The 664 on the event day, if I'm not mistaken, is related to the height of Trump Tower. The height of Trump Tower, 664 feet. There it is, the architectural height of the original Trump Tower in Midtown Manhattan, New York City is indeed 664 feet. So there's your 664. Remember, the location, 721 through 725 Fifth Avenue, matches Daniel 721 through 725, the horn. Daniel 7:21 says, and that same horn shall make war of the saints. And Daniel 7:25 says, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. And Jesus said the Antichrist would be here in his own name. I believe that's John 5:43. I come in my Father's name and you receive me not, but if another comes in his own name, him you will receive. Another what? Another Christ, Antichrist. And of course, he is received over there by the people that Jesus was speaking to, the bloodline or his own people that rejected him and killed him. So, do we now have our date? Did the Lord ordain the end times to officially begin on the darkest day of the year, on the winter solstice? Well, as of this moment in time, it sure looks that way. as the earth will have up its pagan Christmas tree all over the place. Mm, 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 mm. Which makes me actually want to look up a date. Um, I saw something that caught my eye and I lost my concentration with that I want to look up. Hang on. By the way, the Trump descent down that escalator, which stood for his death, 383 amount of days to our December 19th date. 38 is murder in one of the four base ciphers. It's also death in one of the four base ciphers, and 83 is also murder in one of the four base ciphers on the other gematria calculator website that we use a lot. I can't remember what it was I wanted to look up. Can always look up One World Trade Tower. I think I've already done that. I already looked at a lot of this stuff um, yesterday. Well, it is a 19 is there, is present. And on the rising day, if we look at the rising day, that was 2014 when One World Trade Tower opened. But I can't remember what it was I wanted to go look at. Well, there's your 66 for Revelation. 133 in the months, Revelation 13:3, deadly wound, but did live. 11 years, 1 month, 18 days, 1, 1, 1, 1, 8. 4,066 days. There's your 66. So was it something to do with Trump Tower or something to do? What was it? Tower. I was looking up Trump Tower. I saw the 664. I said I wanted to look something up. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, I am very satisfied with this date. Oh, 88. Let's look up. This wasn't what I was wanting to look up, but October 2nd, the Donnie Darko date. There's your 135 again. 13594, 13592 on the event day. Well, it's good enough. Trust me, that 135 is strong, or they wouldn't have had it on uh, the car tag of Christian Bale or Batman or Bruce Wayne, excuse me. I tell you something, Mamma Mia, here we go again. Mamma Mia, remember, came out same day as The Dark Knight, and Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again came out the same day as Dark Knight Rises. But when they did the sequels, they made them 6 years apart. But it was very sneaky because that's Barbenheimer, girl movie, and Christopher Nolan movie. They both came out on the same day, Barbie and Oppenheimer, just like The Dark Knight came out the same day as Mamma Mia. Remember, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again is 9/11, Here We Go Again if you've been on my channel long enough. So if we look that up to the rising day, there it is, 7/11. Remember, 9/11 was really about 7/11, which was really about Revelation 11:7. Most countries write the date backwards from us. There's your Tower 2, Tower 7, Tower 1. Everything's there. Also, um, if you go to the event day, there's your 79, which is murder and simple gematria. 2,709 days, drop to 0. That's Mamma Mia. Mm-mm-mm-mm. 4,902, 13 years, 5 months. There's your 135 again. Look at the hours. 117, Revelation 11:7. 117, 648 hours. Perfect. 700 weeks. Wow. It was the Dark Knight. It was No Time to Die. can't remember what it was I wanted to look up, but let's keep going with Spectre. What was Back to the Future? We can definitely look up Back to the Future. Also, let's look that up real quick on 7.3. Wow, it's murder on the murder day. 14,779. 79 is murder in simple gematria. Goodness gracious, Back to the Future is a direct smash hit. Wow. So now we're going to go back to, we were going to look up, I can't remember once again what we were going to look up, but let's look up iPad Goat. Also came out on 7.3, 4919, 4917, 135, again, 13 years, 5 months. And then it released on its website with 624. Again with the 135, 13 years, 5 months. Mm, 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 mm. So those are usually our usual go-tos. We will look up Spectre, The Writing on the Wall, which was September 25th, 2015. There's your 374. Fusion on the Rising Day. Look at the Death Day. 37, 38. 38 is murder and it's death, and one of the four base ciphers. So that's the release date of the song Writing on the Wall. And then the movie dates were October 26th, 3707. If you run it to the Rising Day, you have Eve coded if you include both dates. 121 months. Wow, 121 Antichrist of Gematria. Remember, Eve is 710. So it's a hit there. Other release date was 11/6 on Spectre, Writing on the Wall, 3698. That's hard to beat. Your 121 is still present. 88 begins the hours. If you run it to the event day, 98th verse, remember, is White Horse Crowning verse of Revelation. But if you look at it, it's 10 years, 1 month, 13 days. You have your 113 code again. So that's Spectre. 2006 was Casino Royale on 11/17. Yep, they did it on the 11/17 date, believe it or not. Nothing too spectacular there. Is there any other dates that are just popping off in my head right now that we always, oh, the most famous date that I said is the total solar eclipse of June 21st on the summer solstice of 2001, because 2001 A Space Odyssey opens up with a total solar eclipse. So I always say that's the biggest cipher. Let's see what that gives us. 8947 on the event date. 47, his number again. 89, believe it or not, is found in Donald Trump, Jewish Hebrew Gematria, and Donald J. Trump. That's 589 and 1189. So 89 is a big number of his. And there it is, 8947. If we also, I think it was 9/11 I wanted to look at. That's what I wanted to look up. 9/11, 2001. If we run that, wow, 88, 86, 65. Guess what the 65th prime number is? 313. The Zapruder film. The 65th prime number is 313. The Zapruder frame 313 was the headshot. And remember on March 3rd or 313 of 2020. But there it is, 88, 65, 65th prime number. You got your 88 being 86th. So these are killer direct smash hits. I mean, to tell you, 9/11, 2001, 2, 12/19, 88/65. 88/65. 24/139. 24/139 divided by 37. No, I was wondering because I felt like, anyway. Um, 23. If we look at, I already looked at the eclipse. I don't think that did much for me. When we looked at the eclipse that made the X across America. But let's go ahead and close out with that. I don't think it gave us much on 4/8. Well, it's 620 days or 622 days. The only thing that's really significant about that, it's 88 weeks, by the way. What's significant about the 62 is revelation of 602 in Strong's Concordance. That's really about all you're getting there. At 2020, the midpoint of the total solar that made the X across America. Well, you do have your murder code, 831. I mean, 83, excuse me. 1831 on the murder day. That's the midpoint of the two total solars that made the X across America. The exact midpoint, there was also a total solar on 12/14. It was day one of the therapy, and it was day one of Biden getting his electorals, or the day, I guess I should say. If we look at that big day where there was a big event in the capital city, that would have been 4 years, 11 months, 13 days. And yep, on the 6th day of the first month of 2021, there was a big event. And that's a perfect, on the event day, it's 1,808 days. So there's your 88. Wow. Mind blowing. Event 201 was October 18th, 2019. 2,254 days. Day 254 was 9/11 of the year 2001. It is a perfect 322 weeks for Skull and Bones. A perfect 322 weeks. No days. I think we got our date. I really do. I've said that before. I have said that before, haven't I? But if you're watching this along with me, you're seeing this stuff pop off. You are seeing this stuff pop off. And one thing I have not looked at is 8/12/2022. 12/25. Well, that is the month and the year, isn't it? On the event day, it's 12/25, which is the month and the year. It's a perfect 175 weeks, no days. Remember, 175 is Revelation 17:5, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of all harlots, where each word is capitalized in the King James. Why is 8/12/2022 significant? That is the midpoint of two total solar and two total lunar eclipses and the day series, the Dog Star Rose. And the what I think might be the abomination of desolation is on 8/12/2026. Reason I say that is, again, Sirius of Dog Star rises on the same day there's a total solar eclipse. That's impossible. I think that's when the abomination of desolation is going to be. And so, yeah, I like what I'm seeing there. Now, it was 88 days of two total lunars in both directions and 251 days of two total solars in both directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. Total solar was on December 4th, 1476, 1478. I got hit in the right eye with a paper airplane. Remember that? 1463. All right, now let's go to 2020 and look at various dates. I'm sorry, 2022 of the two total lunars, two total solars. 1398. Wow. And 1400 even. Real quick, these are personal ciphers. This is when I had the gate right eye wound when I opened the gate, and I'm showing you all that in the video where I opened the gate and I had blood over my right eye on 4/26/2022. Look at that, 1333 to the event day. That's utter perfection. Revelation 13:3, deadly wound but did live. Whoa, this is big. All right, so anyway, it was on 5/16. I forgot, I want to go ahead and run the anomaly of 3/11/2022. If you've been with me long enough, you know that was just an unbelievable anomaly between a friend of mine and myself, where that person turned 13463 days old on 3/11/2022. I'm sorry, that person turned the first 5 digits of Trump and I's combined number, 13463. Remember, Trump's number is 163464. That's what happens when you multiply 6 times 14 times 1946. And my number is 82362 because I'm born 7/6/1961. Trump and I's combined number has 322 in the middle of it. So on 11/3, excuse me, on March 11th, 2022, a friend of mine, female, turned 13463 days old. 33 days later, I turned 22196 days old. And 33 days after that was a total lunar eclipse on 5/16. So I want to go ahead and look at all those dates. And sure enough, the 3/11/2022 on our murder day has murder in the days. 1379, 79 is murder in simple gematria. A perfect 197 weeks. The 97th verse of Revelation is the opening of the seal. The next verse is the white horse crowning. If you then move to the rising day, it's Trump's number 138, 1381. If you include both dates, you're going to get 3 years, 9 months, 11 days. Let's go to the next date, 33 days later on 3/13. 1348, 1346. Well, 3 years, 8 months, 8 days. Boom. Now let's go to the total lunar eclipse, 33 days after that. We knew we had a pattern when we saw that. And on the murder day, it's 1313, or Zapruder film 313. It's 1,313 days from that total lunar 2022 to our event day. That is a perfect direct smash hit. 88 days in the other direction was on November 8th, which was a total lunar. And that was also the election day of 2022. And it's 3 years, 1 month, 11 days, 311 coded, but it's also 1137 in the days. If you include both dates, it's very simply 1/138. His name is 138 in simple gematria. My goodness gracious. And then remember, Lily was the total solar eclipse on 420. I always said that would be a direct smash hit to our event day. Let's see if Lily is. I don't see anything too awful big there. It's 974 days. And then it delivered the flower full moon that total solar did on 5/5/2023, and that represented rising. Let's run that. It's 961. And 96. I'm not going to get into it. It will be seen as too bizarre. But I like the minutes. 138 begins the minutes. 138, 384. This is just blowing my mind, everything I'm seeing. Really is. Really, 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 really blowing my mind. I like this date of December 19th. Big time. All right. Love y'all. Playlist will begin on all four channels.